Hey y'all, Emily, Bowie here. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode. This is a special episode that we're going to kick things off with all of our Black Friday sales. That's right, it's November. And this is the time where you're going to get all of your plug-in deals. And I just wanted to get a little head start on that and let you know about the upcoming Waves plug-in Black Friday sale. That's right, it's going on now. It's the Black Friday early bird special, and I wanted to go over my 7 essential, not favorite, but essential Waves plugins, and I'm going to drop a link right down there in the description that's going to get you those Black Friday early bird specials. So go ahead, make sure you get that. This is the time that you'll want to build up your plugin collection, and what better way to do that than with Waves. And speaking of getting great sounding mixes, I want to let you know that I have my 21 best mixing tips. I've got a PDF download that you can have. Print that out, save it on your computer, reference back if you're ever wondering what's something that I can do here to make my mixes sound better. I've got you. So download that at fairairmusic.com/21. So again, these are my 7 essential Wave plugins, not necessarily my favorites, because, you know, I've got favorites. They've got some unique things going on that I don't use all the time, but I think they're cool, and so they're kind of my favorites. For this, these are the ones that I believe that are going to be super beneficial to you the majority of the time. These are the ones that I think you can go to all the time. If you have these few plugins right here, that you're going to be getting better sounding mixes. The essentials, right? So the first one on that list is the Rvox. Now, I have mentioned this one before. This is something that this is a plugin that is one of my favorite Waves plugins. It's probably one of my favorite vocal plugins ever. There's something just super unique about this, and I want to show you what it sounds like on this sort of pop rock tune that I've got. So here we go. Let's take a listen to what the Rvox is doing.
Drunk girls sway like a gentle sea, but the air is thick with booze and weed. Drunk girls sway like a gentle sea, but the air is thick with booze and weed. You're slipping away with your pick of the night, so I'll be waiting patient on the passenger side.
We can still use plugins like the Rvox to push that vocal through everything, but not sit on top of it. You've also got this gate knob here that's just compressing, that's just silencing when that vocal is not active, filling out, making it sound more present. That's why I think that this is an essential plugin and very necessary for radio quality vocals. Next up on the 7 most essential Waves plugins I have is the NLS bus. Now, I will put this on every single mix, just like the Rvox. What is unique about this plugin is I don't really use it with any of this going on. I don't set it to an individual group and then try to mix on it. But what I do like about this is its unique analog characteristics. You've got the Nevo, which is emulating a Neve console. This mic, I believe to be as the EMI board. And then Spike is your SSL. Now, what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of drive on that and then just pull off on the trim there just a little bit. I guess that's just safety reasons. But I'll go through and you can pick your own sound. Which one sounds best with this style of music? You know, maybe this was recorded on some sort of analog gear and a board. And I feel like I can go between those 3 and see what best fits the song. So let's take a listen to that.
Drunk girls sway like a gentle sea, but the air is thick with booze and weed. You're slipping away with your pick of the night, so I'll be waiting patient on the passenger side. Built to be young, never to last. I can't hold on.
all sound different, right? Which one did you think sounded best? I do like the beefiness of the Neve, but there's just something that really gets opened up there in the EMI, the mic setting, and of course, you can't go wrong with a rock song and an SSL. But I'm curious, which one did you think sounds better for this particular song? I want to hear from you. So leave that in the comments. Let me know which one your favorite console was and which one you thought sounded best with this song. Number 3 on my 7 essential Waves plugin is the L2. Now, I'm not really using the L2 in this song because we're already there. We're pretty beefy. It was recorded well. We got the right amount of gain on the front end. But if you didn't, then this is something that I love to put on all of my group tracks, because instead of really increasing the output of it, I would rather control that before any of my faders. The faders, I don't like to move very much. As you can see down here, we're still hovering fairly close to 0. We're down to, nothing is over 6, -6 on pulling these faders down. And so if I need to get just a little more volume out of something, I don't want to ever duplicate the track to get more volume out of that. I don't think that is a smart idea. I know that there are some way better known mix engineers than moi who do that, but I just don't think that it's beneficial. And instead, we can add gain by using the L2 and a little bit of characteristic as well. So I've got all of those set to a ceiling just for safety reasons. And then I will pull that down to add some more gain. Like I said, this song doesn't necessarily need that, but this is something that I would recommend doing over volume control.
Drunk girls sway like a gentle sea, but the air is thick with booze and weed.
Now we're rocking. I will not use the L2 on the vocal, but for all of my instruments, absolutely. So see, that right there just beefs up everything. And, it just sounds so much better than pushing the output volume of all of those. We're creating more musical sounding output over that fader. Coming in at number 4, and by the way, these aren't necessarily ordered in what is my favorite of these 7 essentials, so just keep that in mind. But number 4 is the CLA 1176 bundle. That is where you're going to get the black and blue face. So let's see what that sounds like. I really like to put that on my background vocals a lot of the times. Just controls those really nicely. You're able to bring those up, bringing up the output fader, making that sound fuller, more enhanced, and then we can control that with the output on the plugin. My next essential Waves plugin is the API 2500. That's right, this is my go-to bus compressor. I just love the sound of it. This one sounds great. If you don't have, like I said, any of the universal audio hardware, this is a great one to have, and I think that it works well on everything. I use it every single mix. There's really hasn't been anything lately that I haven't used this on. And so these are kind of the settings that I like to use with that, and then just have just a pretty consistent squeeze on that. Nothing too much, nothing too drastic. I don't like a pumping sound. So we're giving it characteristic, we are tucking everything in, all of those little flyaway transients, we're making it nice and smooth and polished sound. This is what's giving you the difference between, something that's unmixed and something that sounds like you hear on the radio. So next we have the Abbey Road Plates. I absolutely love this plugin. This was one of the first Wave plugins that I ever purchased. I just really love it. You've got 4 different plate sounds, and you're going to find one that fits the style of music that you're mixing. I promise you that. So let's take a listen what it sounds like with and without. So for me, I think that A and C work pretty good there. I think A is probably the most common one that I use. It's a little bit more mellow. D, I think, is a little more chaotic. I think that would probably be best for some specialized effects. And then, but, B just kind of for different situations. I think that's just one of those things that's up to you and the music that you're mixing, but they all sound great and they all sound different. And then you can control how much of that reverb you're actually getting. And then, of course, you've got your pre-delays and wet dry knobs, all of that stuff that you can really get a detailed sound with. Reverb is also another tool that we use to glue things together, just like we have the instrument chamber here. The vocal, if we didn't have that, if you've ever gone to just sort of some not very good karaoke bars and they don't add any reverb or anything on that, and it's going to make you sound a little funky up there. But if you have the right type of reverb going, which I think you can find with the Waves Abbey Road Plate, and you've got 4 different ones down here and they all sound unique, this is going to take your vocal from that amateurish sound to something that you hear on the radio. And rounding everything out on these essential Waves plugins is the J37 Tape plugin. Now, this is, I think, probably the more popular of the tape plugins that Waves has. And so I like to have some tape because we don't use tape anymore. And these plugins were designed to give you that tape compression, that kind of gluing elements. There's some saturation that can go on with this. You've got different tapes, different speeds that can change the overall sound of your mix. And, you've got a couple of bias options here. That's pretty standard stuff. This one's pretty cool because it's got a little bit more effects going on that you can create on the wow and flutter. And then, of course, you've also got that tape delay sound. So if you, don't really have a delay plugin that you like, then this is kind of like 2-in-1, right? This is great on a lot of things, especially vocals. And, I know for me, hard to find good delays out there that just work every time, and this kind of allows you to have 2 different things going on in one plugin. So let's just kind of play around with it, see what it's doing to our overall sound. That's where I like to put my tape plugins, right after my bus compression and right before my final last limiting. So that was really cool. Got 3 different styles, kind of like how we had with the NLS bus console plug-in there. We've got 3 different sounds. I think, probably either this 888 or the 811 works the best. And then you've got 2 different tape speeds. So if you want to kind of darken things down, really round off those edges, you go with a slower tape speed. If you want to open it up, have a little brighter sounding, you go with the higher one. And this one's got 2. Sometimes you'll have the 7.5, 15, and a 30, but these are excellent choices as well. There, little, goes a long way. When you take it in and out, you can really hear that. There's just some different levels of the level that you want to go in, so you can push that harder and then pull back on the output if you want some, specific things. I think this would be good on some kind of harsh sounding guitars. You could put this on there and tame that down a little bit. And then over here in your delay section, that's just going to be adding a little bit more control if you want slapback, feedback, or ping pong, the different styles of delay that you can add in here, and then the timing of that. Very, very cool plugin. Like I said, I think that was probably the more popular of the tape plugins that Waves has, and definitely an essential style plugin from Waves to add to your collection. All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this quick little run through of my 7 essential Waves plugins. Don't forget that there's going to be a massive, they're saying it's the biggest one yet, 2022, this November, Black Friday sales at Waves, and don't miss out on that early bird special. Follow the links. I've got them right there in the description. So now is the time to start buying your Waves plugins, building up your repertoire of mixing and mastering and music production tools. Also, while you're at it, while you're improving your mixes, go ahead and download my 21 best mixing tips. It's very simple to follow that. This is a PDF. You can download it, save it on your computer, print it out, have it there right next to you, learn them. You can get that at fairairmusic.com/21. All right, y'all, thanks so much for watching this episode, and I will see you all real soon.